Welcome to the online session conducted by Shri Ram Dandekar on behalf of Navakokon Education Society's Divize College, Chiplun. We are studying Commercial Mathematics lesson number 9 of Standard 11 Commerce. Today's topic interest. This is omitted from this year's syllabus, that is 2020-21. This topic is completely omitted and given for the self study, but I am explaining this part somewhat. Interest. Interest is defined as the cost of borrowing money. Interest is charged on the loan balance and it is specified as an amount per cent per annum, PCPA. That means if someone gives money to another one, then for this transaction, not for this transaction, then for giving money, this another person has to give some extra part to the original person, and this extra part is called as interest. The second definition of interest is fee paid for the use of another party's money. This is most appropriate definition, I think. It is the fee paid for use of another party's money. That means someone else's money. If I am using it, then I have to pay some fees to it. To the borrower, it is the cost of renting money, and to the lender, it is the income from lending money. I repeat, to the borrower, it is the cost of renting money, and to the lender, it is the income from the lending money. Interest can also be the rate paid for money on deposit. Interest is calculated in two ways. Way number one, simple interest, and second way, compound interest. You might have studied these topics in your schooling days. Simple interest calculated only on the principal or the original amount of loan or deposit. Compound interest, it is calculated on the principal amount and on the accumulated interest of previous years. The difference between simple interest and compound interest will be clear from the following example. A sum of rupees 1000 at 10% per annum will have simple interest of rupees 100 in the first year and compound interest rupees 100 in the first year. That is, for first year the interest is same for simple as well as compound interest. Now at the end of 2 years, that is second year, the simple interest will remain same 100. That means total simple interest is 200, and the compound interest for the second year will be 110. This is because at the end of first year, this 1000 rupees became 1100 along with this interest. Now for the second year, this is the principal value, and on this principal value interest is charged at the rate 10% and it becomes 110. Now for the third year, again simple interest is same 100. So total simple interest is 100 plus 100 plus 100, that is 300, and the compound interest is now add 110 in this amount so that it becomes 121 0. The total amount for the third year is 1210, and the interest at the rate 10% on this amount is 121, and the total compound interest is 300 331. 331. Similarly, for the fourth year, the compound interest is 100 and the simple interest is 100 and compound interest is interest added on this. It is 133 point something. The fractional part is neglected and 133 is the compound interest. Here it is printing mistake. The original sum of rupees, here it should be 1000 and not 100. It should be 1000. Please note this. Important terms. First one, creditor. The person who lends money is called as creditor. Debitor. The person who borrows money, principal or capital, the amount of money which is borrowed or deposited called as principal or capital. Time. The period for which money is deposited or borrowed is called time. That means the time for which the amount is rented. Amount, the sum of the principal and interest at the end of the time is called amount. So the formula for amount is principal plus interest. All this stuff you have already studied in your schooling days, might be in Marathi or Hindi or Urdu. Interest rate. The interest of 1 year for every rupees 100 is called interest rate per annum. How to calculate the interest? For simple interest, formula is very simple. I equal to PNR upon 100 and the amount is A is equal to P plus I, that is P plus PNR upon 100. So it is equal to P into bracket 1 plus NR upon 100. The compound interest formula is A, that is amount, is equal to principal into 1 plus R by 100 raised to N. Special case, when compound interest is calculated half yearly, in this case the rate of interest becomes half and time becomes double. So the formula is A equal to 1 plus R upon 200 raised to 2N. When the compound interest is calculated quarterly, that is 4 times per year, in that case the rate of interest is quartered and the time becomes 4 times. So the formula is 1 plus R upon 400 bracket raised to 4N. The difference between compound interest and simple interest over 2 years is given by P into R square divided by 100 square. Case number 3. When interest is compounded annually but the time is in fraction. If the time is 4 and 2 by 5 years, then amount A is equal to 1 plus R by 100 raised to 4 into 1 plus 2R by 5 upon 100. This fractional part is for the last year rate of interest. We take it for this. Case number 4. When the rates are different for different years, for example, if rates are R1%, R2%, R3% for first, second and third years respectively, then the amount A is equal to P into 1 plus R1 by 100 into 1 plus R2 by 100 into 1 plus R3 by 100. Let us see the solved examples. First one, the simple interest on a sum of money is 36% of the principal and the rate per annum is equal to the number of years. Find the rate %. Now here, suppose the principal is 100, interest is 36, and therefore I is equal to PNR upon 100 gives us 36 is equal to 100 and R upon 100. So R into N is equal to 36, but rate of interest is equal to period, so R is equal to N, and therefore this R square is equal to 36, therefore R is equal to 6 and N is equal to 6. Second problem, the rate of interest for first 2 years is 6% per annum, for next 3 years 7% per annum, and for the period beyond 5 years 8% per annum. If a man lent out rupees 1500 for 9 years, find the total interest earned by him. Here, as the interest type is not declared, so we are going to consider this interest type is simple interest and not compounding interest. Now for first 2 years the interest rate is 6, so for 1 year the interest rate is 12. For 3 years interest rate is 7%, so for 1 year 7 3s are 21, the interest rate is 21. And after 5 years up to 9 years, that is for 4 years, interest rate is 8%, so 8 4s are 32. 32% is for 1 year. Now 12 plus 21 plus 32. 12 plus 21 plus 32, it gives 65%. So it is equivalent to find out the interest at the rate 65% for 1 year only, and therefore the interest earned is 1500 into 65 divided by 100, that is 15 into 65, answer is 975. Third one, a certain sum of money amounts to rupees 10,440 in 2 years and rupees 12,600 in 5 years. Find the principal and rate of simple interest. Now principal plus interest for 5 years is this amount, and principal for plus interest for 2 years is the amount 10,440. The subtraction of these two amounts is equal to principal minus principal cancels out, and interest for 5 years minus interest for 2 years is interest for 3 years. So subtraction of 12,600 and 10,400 gives me interest for 3 years. So interest for 3 years is 2,160 divided by 3 to get 1 year interest. 1 year interest is 720, and therefore 2 years interest is 1,440, double of this. So principal is equal to 10,440 minus 1,440, it is equal to 9,000. This is because 10,440 is the amount after 2 years. Now using the formula I is equal to PNR upon 100, only R is unknown, putting it in the equation we get 720 into 100 upon 9,000 into 1, 8% per annum is the rate of interest. Next set of solved examples in the continuation. How much will be compound interest on rupees 8,000 after 3 years at the rate 5% per annum? The formula we have A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to N. 8,000 into 1 plus 5 by 100 raised to 3. 1 plus 1 into 100 is 100. 100 plus 5 is 105 upon 100. This is 3 times, so 100 upon 5 upon 100 cube I have written like this, and after the necessary calculations the answer comes out 9,221. Let us move on to the next problem. Find the compound interest on rupees 10,000 at 8% per annum for 2 years, 6 months, compounded annually. P is equal to 10,000. So N is equal to 2.5, that is 5 by 2, that is 2 and half. And therefore R is equal to 8% per annum, N is equal to 2 years and half year. The formula becomes A equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to N, and here is a correction, here it should be 10,000 not 100. So the formula becomes 1 plus 8 by 100 bracket square and raised to half. Here the rate becomes half, 1 plus 4 by 100, the rate becomes half. So this works out to be 12,130.56, and interest is amount minus principal, that is 2,130.56. The third problem, compound interest on a certain sum for 2 years at 10% per annum is 1,050. Find the principal. A equal to P into 1 plus R by 100. Here R is 10, so it is 110 raised to 110 upon 100 square. Now interest is nothing but, amount is nothing but principal plus interest. So principal plus interest is equal to P into 1 plus 10 by 100 square, and therefore 1050 is equal to P into 110 upon 100 into 110 upon 100 minus P. It is P into 21 upon 100. Again now there is correction, here 100 is not there, 21 is here. This term is incorrect, here it should be 21, then only the answer is 5,000. Let us discuss exercise 9.3. What would be simple interest on an amount of rupees 9,600 at the rate 6% per annum after 3 years? The answer is very simple. Simple interest on an amount of 9,600, so PNR upon 100, PNR upon 100. Whatever may be the calculation, it is your answer. Simple interest. Second question, what would be simple interest at the rate 9.5% per annum on 6,000 rupees for 2.5 years? Now 9.5 means 9.5 and 2.5 means 2.5. Using the formula PNR upon 100, the simple interest is P is 6,000, N is 2.5, R is 9.5 divided by 100. Calculate these, take the products and division and find out the answer yourself. Third problem, what would be the simple interest on rupees 8,400 in 9 months at the rate of 8.25% per annum? In this case, 8,400 is P, the principal. Rate of interest R is 8.25 and the time or period is N equal to 9 months. 9 months means 9 upon 12 years, and we are going to replace this 9 by 12 in the formula PNR upon 100, and that will give us the answer 8,400 into 9 by 12 into 8.25 completely divided by 100. Now here 0 cancel out, 9 into 7 into 8.25, take the product and whatever may be the product, that will be your answer. what would be the compound interest on rupees 4200 for 18 months at 10% per annum compounded half yearly. 18 months means 3 half years. So n is equal to 3. Rate of interest is 10% per annum. 10% per annum, and therefore it is 5 per half year, and therefore the compound interest formula A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to n gives us P equal to 4200. 1 plus R I am going to take as 5 upon 100 raised to 3. Calculate this amount. 4200 into 105 upon 100 into 105 upon 100 into 105 upon 100. Calculate and find out A. And after finding that, you want compound interest. The compound interest is A minus P. So by doing this calculation, you will get the answer of fourth one. Find compound interest on rupees 10,000 for 2 years at 8% per annum compounded half yearly. Again, like the previous one, n is 2 years, that is 4 half years, and therefore I am going to take n equal to 4, and rate of interest 8% per annum, that is 4% per half year, and therefore the formula A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to n gives us the answer 10,000 into 1 plus 4 by 100 raised to 4. Calculate this and find out the answer. But that will give you only the amount. You want compound interest, and compound interest I is equal to A minus P. In how many years rupees 1 lakh will become rupees 1,33,100 at compound interest rate of 10% per annum? Now here 1 lakh is principal, 1,33,100 is amount, this is R, you want N. The formula is A equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to N. In this formula I am using these values. So 1,33,100 is equal to 1 lakh into 1 plus 10 by 100 raised to N, and that gives us 1.331 is equal to 1.1 raised to n. We know that this 1.331 is 1.1 cube. 1.1 cube is 1331, and therefore n is equal to 3. N is equal to 3. Let us solve 7th problem. A certain sum of money becomes 3 times of itself in 20 years at simple interest. In how many years does it become double of itself at the same rate of interest? So A is equal to 3 times principal in 20 years. A means P plus I is equal to 3 times P in 20 years, and therefore P plus PNR upon 100 is equal to 3 times P in 20 years. Now I will write here n is equal to 20, so that no need to write this. Take P common, P into bracket 1 plus 20 into R upon 100 is equal to 3P. P cancels out and I get 25 and therefore 1 plus R upon 5 is equal to 3, and therefore R upon 5 is equal to 2, and therefore R is equal to 10, and therefore rate of interest is equal to 10% per annum. Now we want in how many years does it become double of itself at the same rate of interest. A is equal to twice P. That means P plus PNR upon 100 is equal to twice P, and therefore PNR upon 100 is equal to P, and therefore NR upon 100 is equal to 1, and therefore N is equal to 100 upon R. We have found out R is equal to 10. Here I made a mistake. Here this R should be small case r, because initially we have used the small case letter. 100 upon 10, it is equal to 10, and therefore the amount doubles in 10 years. Amount doubles in 10 years. A person borrows 10,000 for 2 years at 4% per annum simple interest. He immediately lends it to another person at 6.5% per annum for 2 years. Find his total gain in this transaction. Now, since all the calculations are simple interest, the calculation is very simple. Just find out the difference between the rate of interest 4 and 6.5. The difference is 2.5, and therefore the gain of this person is 10,000 into 2.5, the difference for 2 years. The answer is 500, because 2.5 into 2 is 5, 5 into 100 is 500. 500 rupees is the gain in this transaction. Question number 9. A man deposits rupees 200 at the end of each year in a recurring amount at 5% compound interest. How much will it become at the end of 3 years? Here I can think the problem as, firstly 200 borrowed or deposited for 3 years at the rate 5% per annum compound. Nextly, 200 deposited for 2 years at the rate 5% per annum compounded. and again 200 deposited for 1 year at the rate 5% per annum compounding interest, because the man deposits rupees 200 at the end of each year. So initially 200 rupees deposited, at the end of first year, 3 years it becomes, it is this 200 is there for 3 years, next 200 is there for 2 years, and next is for 1 year, and therefore the total amount A is equal to A1 plus A2 plus A3, that is 200 into 1 plus 5 by 100 for 3 years plus 200 into 1 plus 5 by 100 square plus 200 into 1 plus 5 by 100 raised to 1. This is equal to, I can take 200 common, so inside the bracket 1.05 cube plus 1.05 square plus 1.05. This is equal to 200 into, now I am going to use calculator for quick calculations, otherwise for examination purpose we need to calculate this using log tables, and 1.50 cube, I want calculator, 1.05 cube is 1.15 7625 plus 1.05 square 1.05 square 1.1025 plus 1.05. This is equal to 200 into firstly 5. The answer is 3.12 and 0, that is 2 5 0 5 5 5 10 7 plus 2 9 6 plus 5 11 the answer is 3.31025 into 200. The amount is 662.025. This problem is over here. Let us move to next one. A man gets simple interest of rupees 2000 on a certain principal at the rate of 5% per annum in 4 years. What compound interest will the man get on twice the principal in 2 years at the same rate? Let us copy this to our board and solve it. I read the question again. A man gets simple interest of rupees 2000 on a certain principal at the rate 5% per annum in 4 years. What compound interest will the man get on twice the principal in 2 years at the same rate of interest? Here what I will do, the formula is I equal to PNR upon 100, and therefore R is equal to 100I upon Pn. Rate of interest is same, therefore I can directly say 100 into I1 upon P1 into N1 is equal to 100 into I2 upon P2 into N2. I can cancel 100 I1. Now let us put the values here. In the first case, a man gets simple interest of 2000. First case, simple interest of 2000 on certain principal at the certain principal, let us call it as P, at the rate of interest 5% per annum. The rate of interest is same, so I am not going to calculate it. Consider it 4 years, so into 4 is equal to, what would be the interest? I2, I want I2. The man get twice the principal, so here 2P, P2 is equal to twice P in 2 years, so N2 is by 2. Now here P will get cancelled, 4 will get cancelled to this 4, and I get I2 is equal to 2000, and therefore the simple interest is same, since the principal is doubled and the period is halved, the interest remained the same. This 11th problem is very simple, directly using the formula. On this only one formula is given, you can try yourself. Thank you very much for this time.